In 2011, the New Orleans Hornets orchestrated a trade that would send Chris Paul to the Lakers, where he would form a super backcourt with Kobe Bryant. That trade never happened. NBA Commissioner David Stern banned the deal under the guise it was unfair. But did you know that trades in the NFL have also been nixed for a variety of reasons? In fact, former Commissioner Pete Rozelle blocked a trade that would have significantly altered the course of NFL history. Stick around and find out what that was. The most illegal trades in NFL history are coming up right after this. A long time ago, in a universe far, far away, I was a young dad with 2 young kids. And look, you and I know it can get pretty tough to make ends meet sometimes. Unexpected expenses come up all the time. Medical bills, car repairs, your water heater exploding, all things that can spring up on you when you're already hurting. But what if I told you there was a way to get the cash you need fast and interest-free? Dave is a banking app that can help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. Like I said, there is no interest and even better, no credit check. So if you're in a pinch and need some extra help, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Does this all sound good? Download the app today at dave.com/5points. That's dave.com/5points. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve. Member FDIC. Rob Gronkowski to the Lions. Jared Goff accepted his fate as a quarterback of the Lions, but in the face of moving to Detroit, future Hall of Fame tight end Rob Gronkowski threatened to rage quit. Months prior to a Super Bowl 53 victory in which Gronkowski made one of the most crucial grabs in the Pats' victory, Bill Belichick decided to ship the GOAT tight end to Detroit, where his former lapdog Matt Patricia had just taken over as head pencil pusher. The play sheet is laminated. Gronk read the tea leaves and said, thanks, but no thanks. In fact, let's hear it from good old Rob himself.
It was about 2 years ago. I was actually traded to the Detroit Lions, and I called up and I got the phone call, and I was contemplating if I should retire or not about 2 years ago, and I was like, you just traded me to the Lions? I go, oh, I'm retired.
So basically, Gronk threatened to take his ball and go home if the trade went through, and the Lions relented. League rules prevent a player from retiring and then becoming a free agent. See Carson Palmer. But Gronk effectively played his hand correctly and got the trade nixed. Ultimately, the Pats lost out on a first and second round pick, but they got one more year out of Gronk before he retired and joined Tom Brady for another ring in Tampa.
Take him to Detroit. No, not Detroit, no!
Jadeveon Clowney to the Saints. Jadeveon Clowney has had a history of bizarre transactions around him, like how the Texans tried to trade him before he signed his franchise tender, which was illegal. But none was more bizarre than in 2020 when the Saints tried to acquire him illegally. According to ESPN's Mike Triplett, the Saints tried to pull off an NBA-style sign and trade with an unnamed team, which would have that team sign Clowney and pay his signing bonus, then ship him to the Saints for a draft pick, effectively allowing the Saints to get Clowney at a lower cap hit and the anonymous team to get a free draft pick. The Saints asked the NFL for permission, and the league said hell no, as the NFL doesn't want to become the NBA with all that fake rule breaking. Clowney, who was on the Seahawks at the time of the banned trade, ended up a Titan after signing as a free agent. Dwayne Thomas to the Patriots. During his playing days, Dwayne Thomas was a troubled soul, and it led to the constant reshuffling of his career. In the early 70s, Thomas led a Cowboys backfield that captured the first of their 5 Super Bowl titles. In that Super Bowl victory, Thomas accounted for over 100 yards and a touchdown. According to reports, he was to be voted the game's MVP, but because of his shaky relationship with certain members of the press, the award was given to Roger Staubach. Thomas was a stellar running back, but before his 3rd year, he wanted a new contract from the Cowboys. The team instead opted to trade him to New England, and he lasted just a week as a Patriot. When he was asked to get into a 3-point stance, he refused. There was another report that Thomas also didn't want to take a physical, which the league took as an admission to doing drugs. That's some mental gymnastics. Thus, Pete Rozelle negated the trade and Thomas was sent back to Dallas. Until, of course, he was finally traded to the Chargers, where he didn't ingratiate himself so well. He was quickly suspended 20 days and was placed on the team's reserve list. He actually never played a game for the Chargers. Thomas would go on to be traded to Washington for a first and second round pick, but only amassed 400 yards in one season in our nation's capital. Thomas was an elite player for an iconic team, but as soon as he was traded, lost his grip on stardom and quickly faded from glory. A.J. McCarron to the Browns. It's kind of hard to fathom the idea that A.J. McCarron started an NFL playoff game. And if not for an extremely ill-timed fumble by Jeremy Hill and Vontaze Burfict being Vontaze Burfict, he would have won an NFL playoff game too. Right before the 2017 trade deadline, the Bengals were ready to offload McCarron to a quarterback-needy team. And since he was all set to deal their backup to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a second and a third-round pick. Someone in the Browns office fell asleep at the wheel, forgot to fax the necessary information to the right places before the deadline, and the league was forced to negate the deal on a technicality. Browns ownership was allegedly furious with their front office. Yes, they were upset that they didn't burn a second and third rounder on A.J. McCarron. Terrell Owens to the Ravens. There was once a time when Terrell Owens was actually excited to play with Donovan McNabb. But when the 49ers first traded T.O. after the 2003 season, they originally made a deal with the Ravens, not the Eagles.
Hey, I just look like this. Don't get your popcorn ready.
I guess T.O. wisely decided against playing with Kyle Bowler. Owens actually should have been a free agent after 2003, but here's the catch. His agent failed to file the necessary papers that would have made him a free man, and thus the 49ers tried to cash in by dealing the 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver to Baltimore in exchange for a second-round pick. Owens didn't show up, probably opting for more driveway sit-ups, and the players' union filed a grievance on T.O.'s behalf to make him a free agent. Finally, the league and the union reached a compromise, and the Eagles ended up swapping a 5th-round pick and defensive end Brandon Whiting for T.O., who was stellar in Philly for, that one season. T.O. is a Hall of Famer and now plays in the fan-controlled football league at the age of 48. And guess what? Back in May, he got traded again. Still running 4.3 40s though. And finally, our most illegal trade in NFL history. John Elway to who? John Elway is synonymous with the city of Denver. The entire state of Colorado, in fact. But what if I told you that he almost started his career with one of the Broncos' oldest rivals? That's right, number 7 was almost an LA Raider. Coming out of Stanford, praised as the greatest quarterback prospect of all time, Elway made it clear that if the embattled Baltimore Colts picked him first overall, he would play right field for the New York Yankees and watch would-be outs soar over his head for cheap home runs. Man, this dude hated the Colts. The Colts still picked Elway despite his protests, and when he doubled down on his apathy for Baltimore, Colts GM Ernie Accorsi looked for a trade partner that would hand over a king's ransom. Among the teams interested were the Broncos, the 49ers, and the Los Angeles Raiders. That LA part is important because the Raiders' move from Oakland to Los Angeles deepened a massive schism between owner Al Davis and then Commissioner Pete Rozelle. When Rozelle caught wind that the Raiders had a deal to land the generational QB prospect, he decided to intervene. At least, that's according to former Raiders personnel executive Ron Wolf, who said that Rozelle nixed the deal because of the personal beef he held with Davis. Could you imagine what would have become of the NFL had John Elway played quarterback for the Raiders and not the Broncos? The Silver and Black might have actually won something in the last 3 decades, or maybe not. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe for more sports facts and bad jokes. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.